All right, we are live. I got it working. Man, what a buggy start to the live stream. Sorry about that, I'm a little bit late. I've spent like the last 8 minutes making sure this was working, and then all of a sudden I get some weird error saying it's not on. So yeah, if the red dots are in the title, which actually I think I may have left out today, we are live. So this might be the last official live stream from my actual little studio room here as I'm moving house. So yeah, here we go. All right, welcome folks. We've got a few people here already. We've got, I'm gonna call you Polo because it's easier. Welcome. Savage, how you doing? Kevin, Jamal, welcome mate. We've got Todd, how you doing? We've got Kevin as well. Lots of folks here already. All right, we should be live. Any issues, please let me know. But yeah, it looks like we're good to go. I got my little crow back, which is awesome news. This was a guitar that had been away for a while, getting a new neck put on and all that kind of stuff. And it's now a baseball bat neck, which is pretty wild. So one of the things about this room here right now, it's really echoey because not a lot of stuff is in here. What you see is the last of the posters. I've already removed most of the bottom row. All the posters that were on this wall have been removed, and that wall has been cleaned. I'm in the final stages. You can also see not a lot of amps and speaker boxes back here either. Most of those are at my friend's place right now. So yeah, no more Fat Cat either. I know it's I stole him a little bit too much. He used to come around a lot, but he's getting old now anyway, so he's spending a lot more time back at home. But yeah, I'll be able to make a lot more noise. Well, you know, considering I won't have immediate neighbors either side of me, which is a whole lot easier. I'm moving further out of the city. I don't really like the traffic and all that kind of stuff. I'm over it. I've worked enough years in the city here to not want to live anywhere near it. Yeah, and yesterday I was filming for another mate of mine, and we went through the city in the car, and I just went, oh, this is brutal. It's brutal. So I'm making a good decision moving out further east. I'm pretty happy about it. So yeah, the room is very stripped down, absolutely. So you might have noticed over the last sort of 3 weeks, I haven't really been putting too many videos together, just the pedal stuff. I kind of see the pedal videos as useful, but kind of like almost filler to some extent. They're easy for me to get them done. But yeah, I haven't had enough time to really do anything over the last 3 weeks. About 2 weeks, I haven't really filmed any new videos except for one that I filmed yesterday, or no, the day before, and that'll be up soon as well. But that'll be pretty much the last video I've shot. So there might be a week or two where, you know, in the transition of moving and boxing all this stuff up, that yeah, I won't be shooting anymore here. You know, basically everything's packed away, but there's going to be some new additions to my setup, which I'm looking forward to sharing with you guys as well. Odds are the new place, the backdrop will look pretty much the same. You know, I don't think it'll look that much different to what you see now. The carpet might be different. Carpet will be better in the new place, but yeah, it's going to be, you know, the posters are posters. Nice and simple. Jamal says, am I going to be close to the beach? I'm not close to the beach. I'm going to be moving up towards the hills, man, where I play most weekends. So I used to live up there when I was younger, and I really enjoyed it. And, you know, getting out of the traffic jams is a good thing too for me. So yeah, I'm going to basically be getting out of this little shoebox, little cold shoebox, and into somewhere that's probably still going to be cold, but it's going to be a lot nicer. I'll be able to shoot some, you know, I'll have a yard for the first time in a long time, so yeah. What did I think of the Gibson will sue you video? You know what? People get so offended by everything. I don't think it was cool by Gibson to put a video like that out. I mean, I feel sorry for the host having to say that stuff. He looked kind of like he was sweating a bit saying it, but it was a stupid video, but the reaction is just ridiculous. Like, I get it, but people get so, they're so, like, it's just a good gossip story. I couldn't care less in the end. I mean, I don't think it's a cool thing that for Gibson to be putting a video like that out, you know, threatening other companies. It sucks. I mean, it puts people off their product, right? But in the end, I couldn't care. People are going to buy the guitars they want to buy, and if they don't want to buy a Gibson because of a video, that's fair enough. But, you know, I don't care. I love my Flying V. It's one of the best guitars I've ever played. So yeah, I think it just gets blown out of proportion. Everyone has their 2 cents about it, and I just really couldn't care less. You know, there's bigger problems in the world than a guitar company putting out a crappy video. Like, it just doesn't bother me at all. Michael says, hey Shane, a lot of blues players love their Fender Super Reverb. What are your opinions on the amp? Yeah, they're great. You know, they're really large. That was one of the things that I couldn't, I got a pretty small car, and there was no way I could actually fit it in the back and hide it. So it had to always go in the back seat, you know, and other than that, they're a really great amp. You know, one of the best clean tones of all time. No doubt about it. It's great to have this back, that neck pickup, man. Oh, here we go. Grumpy Mike says moving sucks, but it's always great when you end up in a better place. Yeah, I hope so. I hope everything goes smoothly. I hope all the internet's hooked up as soon as I get there and all that kind of thing. So, yeah, there we go. Guitar, everyone says that neck looked huge when I spun it around earlier. It is. It's bigger than my 52, which isn't that one back there actually. But yeah, it's an absolute monster. It feels really great. Oh, Brink Wolf, thank you so much, mate. I appreciate that. Just use the super chat. If you have any questions, mate, just add in the blues and I'll keep an eye out for it. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. Is it cold? It is. Man, my hands are cold. And yeah, it's always cold in this place. Thanks, Brink Wolf. I appreciate that. He says, hey, Shane, little moving fun. Thanks. Thanks, mate. That's awesome. I'll put it into either fuel or the new Pepsi Max storage facility. Yeah, Driddle, if you pronounce your name that way, sorry, mate. He says the reaction has been a little over the top. Absolutely. It's a Gibson's always a huge sort of like clickbait thing for video makers. Good or bad, you know, it just is. It's just one of those things where people are milking it big time and everyone wants to give their opinion. I think it's hurt their online image, absolutely, but could I care less? No. I just think it sucks that they're threatening other companies. You know, that's the extent of it. Like, what more is there to take away from it than that, other than, you know, you get people trolling their other videos now, and it's like, oh, really? People have time to spend, like, just chasing after a guitar company. I mean, they're chasing after other guitar companies, but, you know, there's more constructive ways to spend your time. I Rock the Blue says, are you still playing the Artist amp? Absolutely, man. It's not here right now. I've got only the Fender and the Marshall just in case I needed them for videos, but I had the Tweed Tone out last weekend. It was awesome. No pedals, just turned it up. It's awesome. Hey, Terry and Landon, welcome, mate. Oh man, it's great to have this thing back. I tell you, this next new, it's got locking tuners on it now as well. It never had locking tuners on it before. Well, it kind of did, but now not on this neck anyway. So yeah, this is the action's great. It feels really, really good. I'm going to get into playing this. I'm going to take it up Sunday night and see if I can get some video footage of it in its new form here. Oh man, we got another super chat. Todd, thank you, mate. Says, hey Shane, I just bought the DSL 40 for $510. That's really good. Looking at purchasing a Blues Deluxe 40 watt, what's my preferred Fender amp? You know what, if you're gonna buy anything, I would buy the Hot Rod Deluxe version 4. And I would only buy the version 4 because the drive channel is really good. I did a video on that months ago. Like, it's a pedalless amplifier, basically. You can just get good sounds out of the drive channels, finally. Or if your options are one of the older ones or a Blues Deluxe, I would get a Blues Deluxe, but I kind of feel like the stock speaker in a Hot Rod is better than, or it sounds better than the stock speaker in a Blues Deluxe. That's just my opinion. I mean, everyone likes different tones, but if you want a smoother, more modern sound, go for the Hot Rod. If you like a little bit of extra mids and maybe a little less, it's still got a lot of bottom end, but it's EQ'd a little differently, then the Blues Deluxe is the way to go. I mean, you could always look into a Vibrolux as well. They're pretty cool, but yeah, I just love the convenience of these. You know, I've had Super Reverbs, I've had Fender Twins, I've had Hot Rod Deluxes, I've had just about DeVilles. I've had all of the Fender amps at one point or another, almost. This is just as loud as you'll ever need, and it's great with pedals. You know, I think that's the cool thing about the Blues Deluxe. I really like it. So thanks again for the super chat, mate. That's awesome. If you have any more follow-up questions, just let me know. But yeah, I really feel like the Blues Deluxe is hard to beat, especially once you change the speaker. It's just a really great amp. But if you want something that just sounds good straight away, the Hot Rod will probably sound nicer to most people's ear. If you're a home player, well, they're both overkill, but the Hot Rod will sound, the Deluxe will actually sound maybe a little nicer on its own, whereas the Blues Deluxe has a better in the mix kind of sound. So I hope that helps. I'm buying a second Katana. This is from Guitar Everyone. He says, I'm buying the Katana 100 112 and I already own the 100 head. Great amps. Yeah, well, they're really, really popular. There's no doubt about that at all. They're, yeah, they're extremely, extremely popular. My only small criticism of those amps, and I've said this before, is they need to have all the functionality built into the amp, so you don't have to hook it up to a computer. I reckon that's, you know, as a home player, it doesn't matter, but if you're playing live and you really want to adjust something, it's hard, you know, unless you get a good sort of starting tone that you can kind of tweak. But if you want to go through all the effects, you really need to hook them up to a computer, and I don't want to take a computer to a gig. Yeah, that's, Terry says, is that why it looks so empty in there? You're vacating. I absolutely am. So my other room on the other side of this wall is full of boxes. I've got pretty much everything except for my computers. Well, two of them, this streaming computer is still on, and my editing one is still working. Everything else is pretty much packed up. It's so echoey in here now. It's weird. These pickups are mighty. So thanks for the super chat, guys. I appreciate that. I'll keep an eye on the comments here in case there's any follow-up questions. Russell says, I totally agree with you about Gibson videos. More important things to talk about. Everyone's making them a big deal out of it. Yeah, that's it. I just couldn't care less. I put a sort of like a tongue-in-cheek poll up on my feed the other day, something like, has the Gibson stuff been done to death? Yes, no, and I like Fender. It was just me being stupid. But a lot of people like Fender, I found out, so it was good. Yeah, look, I get it. I get why people are kind of like aggravated by it. It's a sleazy video to do on Gibson's behalf, but you know, at the end of the day, man, they still make, well, popular guitars and good guitars. Like I said, my Flying V is just great. Like, I play it all the time, and I don't know, I love it. I don't care what anyone thinks of the company. It's a great guitar. Much like how I don't care if anyone likes Tokai or or any of my other guitars. If I like it, I like it. That's what it comes down to. I get my artist amp in August. Can't wait. That's from Jeff. Awesome, man. Good stuff. A mate of mine's also ordered one as well. I've been getting like email after email about like, when are they coming back in? I'm like, I don't operate the store. So yeah, it's been good that people are digging them. You check out the reviews on their website too. They're really, really popular. All right, let me scroll down here. Hey, James, thank you, mate. Appreciate that. He says, like your video on the Keeley pedal, I have the same one. Thanks, mate. So I did two. I did one on the reverb, and I did one on the Fat Mod overdrive. Both are great. You know, both are really cool pedals. I had a pretty average experience with Keeley pedals like quite some time ago. I've mentioned this before, where it wasn't, I guess, working correctly, and it kind of put me off. Some of like testing the rest of them. I thought they were all kind of a bit sort of sketchy, but no, how wrong I was. Everyone's been telling me, no, try them. They're great. Okay, all right, I'll give them a go. That reverb pedal is like perfect. Two controls and a 3-way toggle switch. That's how they should be. Nice and simple. This neck pickup is just an all-day pickup for me. I love it. Guitar, everyone says, I agree that delay and feedback is not tweakable on the Katana. Yeah, that's the kind of, you know, that's one of my criticisms of those amps. But, you know, for most people who just jam it at home or take it out to a rehearsal, it's fine. Protea says, I live sort of between Southport and Jerry's Lefty's Guitars. Do they have a website? Yeah, just type that straight in, Jerry's Lefty Guitars, into Google, and it will come straight up. You'll see my face on a few of the photos and stuff when I've been there. It's a great store. I haven't actually been to what's it called, Southpaw Guitars before, but I've definitely got to get there at some point. Ryan says he owns the DSL 20C. I know the 40C has a different speaker. Would you recommend upgrading? I feel like the 40C has more low end. Yeah, the 40 is a bigger amp, and it's mostly, the power output is louder, right? Anytime I run the amp on 20 watts, like you can switch the DSL 40 down to 20, it loses all of the low end. I still think the 20 watt Marshall will probably out-oomph it for whatever reason. Something about halving the power in a 40 watt amp, you lose a lot. So I never use it on that mode unless I'm recording here at home. In terms of, what was your question? Is the speaker worth upgrading? Yeah, I would do it. I mean, there's plenty of great speakers out there. If you want something that has a little bit more low end, get an Eminence speaker. I don't think you can go too far wrong. You know, like the Texas Heat's a good one. It's got more oomph in the lows, and it kind of takes out a little bit of the tops as well, and it would probably work really well in that amp. If you want something that's brighter, you could go for, I don't know, I always like the Swamp Thing, or the Tonka's another one that's really loud and got a lot of brightness to it, but it really makes the amp a little bit too heavy. I think one of the advantages of the 40 as well as the cabinet size, you know, it makes a massive difference. I've tried the same amp in different speakers, in different cabinet sizes, and the bigger cabs always sound louder, or they'll have a bit more oomph. Michael says, that's my attitude towards Gibson as well. I'm not buying any of their new Axis. No, fair enough. I mean, look, I sort of think Gibson is sort of pricing themselves out of the market a lot too. You know, they are someone mentioned something like, oh, they're marketed towards like guys in their 40s who are corporate, you know, workers or something, and like something along those lines. And I went, yeah, they kind of are. Like, they're great guitars. Well, they are. They've gotten better finally after years of avoiding them. But yeah, I think this has to hurt their image, to say the least. But yeah, like I said, man, I couldn't care less. If I find one of their guitars I like, I'll buy it. If I don't, I'm not going to. Or if it's overpriced, I'm not going to buy it either. Poo Ninja says, are you going to keep the poster wall at the new place? I am. I think so. You know what? I'm not even sure which room I'm going to be using for that yet. I've got a few options for where I'm going to sort of position the whole YouTube thing. So yeah, when I get in there on the 5th of next month, I'll actually have the keys. So I'll take a look and see which room. Sorry about my voice today too. It's a bit sort of husky. I think I'll get in there and I'll take a look and sort of see what the best room is for it. And then, yeah, I might even get more done. You probably see after a while, like the blue tack stains through the paper. I should have probably got them all laminated, although they'll be a little bit more reflective. I think they would have lasted and the cost would have kind of outweighed reprinting them all, but I'll keep the ones that still look okay and then I'll get some new ones done. So yeah, odds are I'll do it. It's a nice easy backdrop and I kind of like having them in the background, you know, all my guitar heroes and musical heroes and stuff. Gibson's basically bullies. Yeah, well, I guess they are in the corporate world, but welcome to big business. You know, that's what big companies are a lot of the time. This shows you that they're not a guitar company, or they're equally as a guitar company as they are a corporate entity or whatever you want to call it. So, yeah, there you go. They don't have the Fender's the same, right? Like they're a lot smarter about how they go about maybe doing this publicly. They wouldn't put a video like that out publicly, at least not to my knowledge anyway. So their marketing team are clearly much smarter than Gibson's. I think it's the perceived, you know, their image is perceived as maybe, even though they've obviously made a lot of really crappy instruments and amps over the years, Fender, they don't have that sort of, no one thinks of them as bullies. At least I don't anyway. They haven't done anything that stupid publicly. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things. I went from a guitar company to a corporate bully in minutes. Yeah, this was almost out of tune out of the box when I got it. This is my first time playing it properly. And it's about 5 degrees in here. What's my favorite fuzz pedal? You know what? I don't really like fuzz a whole lot. I've never really been a huge fan. I don't know if it's a germanium fuzz or not, but probably one of my favorites would be the Dasatronics Big Fuzz, I think it's called. That thing was awesome, man. It was like a Big Muff style fuzz. It's not a sound I really use ever, but I like, if I'm gonna go for a fuzz pedal, I want it to sound kind of smooth. I don't like the asymmetrical clipping. You know, I plugged Dan Electro's new pedal in the Eisenhower fuzz just the other day, and I was like, how do I use this? It was like just bizarre. It's got this sort of full-on fuzz. I'm sort of shocked they sent it to me, actually. I'll try and make it work in a video, but I'm like, I don't really know what I'm supposed to, it's not something I would ever use. So I'm not a big fuzz pedal fan. I know there's a big audience for them, but for what I play live, it's just not really my kind of, you know, not really my kind of thing. Let me just scroll up here. I missed some comments. Sorry, guys. Hey, Dylan, welcome, mate. He says you should get a Marshall fridge for your new studio, exclusively for Pepsi Max to optimize performance. I like the way you think. That's awesome. I thought I saw a name pop up here of a mate of mine, but I scrolled. So if I see it again, sorry. Let me go back down. All right, Matty K, welcome, mate. How you doing? Holy cow, I caught Shane live. Yeah, this is probably my last, for those who have just joined, my last live stream from this room, I think. I'm going to probably pull the posters down after this anyway, but yeah, I might just do a quick Q&A from the Mac or something on the other room before I go. I've got a week, basically, before I got to get out of here. I don't like moving until the last minute. It's the worst. Like, it took me... I got a pretty small place, and I thought, I could pack this place up in 3 hours. So I started packing stuff up, and I was like, who am I kidding? This is going to take ages. And I underestimated how many boxes I needed. And, clothes are great because you can just throw them in a garbage bag, right? That's what I do with my clothes. I don't put them in boxes. I just throw them in a garbage bag. And yeah, I started getting boxes, and I was like, oh no, I'm going to need way more than I thought. And then I was like, what do I do with all my amps and guitars? So I took them to my friend's place, and I've put them in his basement for a while. And yeah, I picked them up after I moved. But yeah, I was like, man, I got so much more stuff than I realized, like so much more stuff than when I moved in. And not even not furniture so much, just a little bit. I got some extra desks, these white desks I never had when I moved in, but they're light, and that's the other reason I bought them, because they're easy to move. But yeah, it's one of those things where I was shocked at how much stuff I had, and pedals and just stuff. I was like, man, I'm going to get rid of some of this. So I gave a few things away, and I'll also be doing some pedal offers coming up as well, just getting rid of some stuff, and yeah, all that. So just stay tuned for that stuff. I actually sold another one of my guitars. I sold both of my SX ones are now gone. They're both really nice guitars, but I've got the Harley Bentons, and I've got too many guitars for how many cases I've got. But they almost all fit back in the cupboard here, so right at the same time, I won't be here anymore. So I've been here 7 or 8 years almost, so it's a long time to sort of be in one place. It's going to feel weird not driving back to the same roads and seeing the beach and all that kind of stuff. I probably will miss that to some extent, but the yard I've managed to score in this new place is really nice. I'll be able to do wireless videos out the back, and yeah, it's beautiful in a different way. So I'm hoping it'll be pretty cool. Michael says, I think the suit is either going to be tossed out or result in a Gibson losing. Yeah, I think exactly the same way. They're wasting their time. Maybe this is the hidden thought process of the CEO, like the new guy. Like, let's sue everybody and see if we can get rich real quick, instead of making great guitars all of the time. Do you think I should keep my Princeton 68 reissue or look for something else? I always reference your channel for tips. Glad I'm catching the last live stream in the old room. Thanks, mate. These are sort of questions you got to work out whether or not you need something else, or what is it about the amp that you're not happy about. I wouldn't just buy something for the sake of it. You got to kind of weigh up: are you looking for a louder amp? Are you looking for a bigger speaker, or what are you looking for in an amp? They're great little amps. The 68s are pretty cool. I think it's just one of those questions I can't really answer for you, mate. I don't have enough context, so feel free to let me know why you want to sell it. That would be, and then I can maybe give you some suggestions. But if you're a home player or you do little gigs, they're a great little amp. There's nothing wrong with them. I found the old fuzz box in the house the other day, allegedly worth 200, is that euros on eBay or pounds? I always get those two, that's pounds, I think. Wow, that's cool. Favorite fuzz is now the JHS Muffaletta. Okay, cool. I haven't tried that one either. Ha! Old guy jamming, that's hilarious. Where's Dr. Rick? He'll be back on the channel coming up. Don't worry about that. We've already been chatting about doing some videos. We were going to try and do some here, but you know, once I knew I had to move, I basically lost 2 full weeks of doing anything other than looking for a new place, which meant all I did every day was drive somewhere to have a look at another place. It's a really time-consuming and horribly stressful thing to want to move or have to move, because it's way more work than I think people realize. I moved a lot when I was younger, but I wasn't just doing it all on my own all of the time. So we were going to shoot some videos, and I just couldn't do it. I wasn't in the right sort of frame of mind. I was just like, I got to get out of here. I want to make sure that the place is clean, and I want to just start pulling it apart now, so I'm not in the last minute rush. So there was a lot of things to organize, and you know, even today I'm still kind of feeling pretty wrecked. Just like, finally can breathe and take a moment and you know, do something on YouTube, because it's, you know, I haven't really done anything. I've done 1 video in the last 2 weeks, and I haven't done a live stream for probably 3 weeks. So it's just been one of those few weeks where, you know, I applied for a place and I knew I'd get it, and I double checked the place I applied for, and I went, this is the worst mistake I could have made. It was maybe a worse decision than staying where I am right now, if that was a possibility. So I panicked, and I thought, no, I got to find somewhere else. I took basically the first one I went for, and that wasn't a smart move. So I'm glad I've got somewhere with a bit of space and a bit of room, and I won't be too far away living from Ryan, who's been on the channel a lot too. And I said to him, you know, if you ever want to shoot some videos, come down. So we'll be doing some more stuff. Maddie K says, I could pack this up in 3 hours. Yeah, no, absolutely not. You know, it's funny because I didn't think I had that much stuff. I'm not a hoarder when it comes to stuff. I throw a lot of things out I don't use and give a lot of things away. And it's one of those things where I was like, how much stuff's actually in this cupboard? You know, I was like, oh man, that's a full box right there. That's maybe 2 boxes. All right, so, and then I was like, I got CDs and all kinds of things up there. I think what I'm going to do coming up on the channel too, maybe, I don't know how I'll work it out, but I got probably 1,000 CDs of my original stuff. I might just start giving them away. I'll work out how to get that happening, and I'll put up a video on YouTube or something once I move. So yeah. Man, I'm a bit slow on the comments here. Sorry guys. Hey Matty K, thanks man. Here's a couple of tenors to help with the move. It'll be over before you know it. Cheers. Thanks, Matty. Thanks for the support, mate. I appreciate it. I can't wait to be out of here. You know, it looks really empty in here now. I wonder if I should show you around, because I'm usually pretty tidy in here. We've got amps and stuff everywhere normally. All the LEDs are off, apart from the guitar one and the flamingo. Let's see if we can do this. Yep. So yeah, it looks really barren in here now, hey? So it's my computer setup. So the desk is pretty much empty. Over this side, we've got crap on the floor. And usually I've got all my cameras rigged up in this room. You know, there's stuff everywhere, but yeah, that's pretty much it. The wall, I actually had posters all the way over to, I guess this wall over here behind the door as well. And actually on this wall was all my other posters. I have a tech channel as well, so I used that wall for that. And you did see it in the guitar videos too, so yeah, it's just one of those things. It feels weird to be pulling it all down, but at the same time, you know, it offers opportunities now for me to do something a little different, and also being able to make a little bit more noise at any time of the day is very liberating in terms of, you know, productivity and you know, all that kind of stuff. Because, you know, when you're doing loud guitar stuff from time to time, I got to really time it here so I don't annoy anybody. Over there it won't matter. So yeah, anyway, thanks again, Matty K. I appreciate that, mate. This is, you know, the last of the stuff that I need to move. And what you're looking at it basically, what all the crap you saw on the floor, mixed with just some of the stuff that's behind me and some of the stuff in my bedroom. That's it. I'm looking forward to a change. You know, it's been a long time coming. You know, I'll tell you, I'll fill you in on a bit of why I'm moving as well. But before I do that, let me just thank, who was it? Todd. Oh man, thank you, mate. Far out. There's a little help to move. Thank you. I appreciate that. You guys support the channel a lot, so thank you. Yeah, it's been a crazy few weeks. I'm surprised I didn't get completely sick. You know, when you're running around like a madman, and you're under a lot of pressure, but it worked out. So I'll catch up on the comments in a sec. But I'll tell you what, my where I live right now, you know, there's like privacy laws in Australia and probably globally to some extent as well, where if you have if you're renting a place through a real estate agent, you're not supposed to basically liaise with the owner because it can create a lot of problems. And I've had times where he's just turned up at the door, right? I've had times where he's got my phone number and he's texted me, you know, I need you to move, blah, 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 all this sort of stuff. So there's been a few times where I thought I was moving and the real estate didn't know anything about it, right? So I was like, oh, this is a bit weird. And over the last sort of 4 weeks, I've had other real estate agents show up at the door and knock and want to gain entry into my unit. I'm like, it's not happening, you know, see you later. So I finally put a stop to most of that. But yeah, it's like for me to lose it, like if they want to show people through, that's fine. They can do it the right way, right? But in the end, I ended up having to pack up, if I had to let people through, I had to pack up all of my camera equipment and all of the stuff that was here before. This is another reason why I moved all of this stuff like 3 weeks ago, whatever it was, because 2 weeks ago, I guess now, because I didn't want people seeing all of the stuff, right? Like, it's bad, you know, like it was just, there was gear everywhere. So I got rid of all of that. In the end, I just got sick of like losing a full day because I'd have to hide it all or pack it away and then unpack it and use it again. And by then I'd be like, I was too fried to really focus on doing any videos. So there's a lot of other stuff coming up on the channel. It's not going to just be pedal videos again, but I knew I could get a lot of those done pretty quickly. So stay tuned for when I move. There's going to be lots of cool stuff. I got a box full of awesome gear sitting out there that isn't just pedals as well. I've got some software stuff I'm going to be trying, and I've got a lot of great videos coming up, as well as this collaborative thing that I'm working on with a lot of cool people that you've seen on YouTube for 10 years. So yeah, there's lots of good things coming up, and I'm not going to just revert to doing what I've been doing on the channel the last kind of like, you know, 3 weeks. It's just been hard for me to really sit down and do anything with a clear frame of mind, I guess. So anyway, the stress is gone now. The last part of it is the easy part, just getting everything over to the new place. So that's it. All right, so anyway, with all that out the way, let's scroll down here and I'll see if I can get through to some of these comments. So thanks again, Matty K, I appreciate that. And thanks again, Todd, mate. Terry says, from Nick Vaz, hey Shane, do you know a good place to get a reverb tank in Oz for Blues Deluxe? Oh, that's a good question. I would assume you might be able to get it from any Fender dealer. You know, I would think you'd be able to get those parts. I don't know if they, yeah, that's interesting. I tell you what, all you really need to do is find someone who sells Accutronics reverb tanks. Accutronics, just try and spell that out, you'll be fine. And that's what they are. So you don't really need like a Fender brand one. They don't use their own brand. They use Accutronics. So you can find those. You'll be sorted out. John says when he left his apartment in Sydney, he planned to be done packing and cleaning on the Friday night. It took me until Tuesday with less than 3 hours sleep a night. Yeah, well, that's the thing. I don't think a lot of people realize like how much goes into moving. And I've actually lost 3 kilos. I was like 70 75, and I'm down to like, actually I think it's more than that. I'm down to like 71. It's crazy, you know, like I work out, but I haven't been eating as much, and I didn't realize I wasn't eating as much. So I've just like dropped a few kilos. It's crazy. Not in like dangerous weight or anything like that, but I'm definitely not as sort of chunky as I was. Carl says, good luck with your move and stay safe. Six weeks ago, I moved in and tore my bicep in the process. Oh, that's brutal. You know, funny you mentioned that actually. I got a friend of mine who I shoot videos for, Josh. He's one of the world's top bodybuilders. He offered to help me move. And he's doing Mr. Olympia this year, right? Like, I'm like, dude, if you twist your knee or you hurt your arm, like I'll never hear the end of that. So yeah, I'm sure that kind of stuff happens a lot, you know. Does the 68 Princeton have a speaker out? I think it does. I mean, I think there's just a regular kind of, was it 1/4 inch plug or something? You can just unplug it. Maybe I packed the 3 kilos in a box, maybe. I have this is from Martin. He says, hi, I have a PV Delta Blues that I like a lot. What do you think of the classic 50-212? I don't like that amp, the 50-212 as much as the Blues Deluxe. As much as the Delta Blues, sorry. I always found they just don't sound as nice. For whatever reason, the one, or at least the one that I played, it might have been modified though. It wasn't really very loud, and it didn't sound nice loud. It didn't sound as nice as the Delta Blues does. My mate Brian actually just bought another one, and another Delta Blues, and it's like, man, it does what the Marshall does. You know, it's got that same sort of vibe in the room, except it's a smoother sound. It just sort of fills the room. The classic 50-212. It's probably my least favorite out of all of their amps. I like the classic 30. I like the Delta Blues. I like the classic 4x10 one. That 50's a much better amplifier. If you can get the 410s one, I get it. It's up there with the super reverb in terms of tone. The only thing is it's very, very heavy. So I don't know if I'd recommend the classic 30-212. A classic 50-212, sorry. Hey, Waterford Giant, thanks mate, I appreciate that. Gives it a thumbs up, I appreciate that. If you're watching and you're enjoying the stream, give it a thumbs up. We've got 113 here. This is my last little live stream from this room before the big move. Lift with your legs. Todd says, oh, that's brutal, training for Mr. Olympia. Yeah, it's full on. So we're sort of documenting, I guess, some of that journey. It's pretty cool. The PV VTX Classic 5212, I guess that's a 50 watt 212 from the 70s was great. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen that one. I'm not too familiar with it. I just always like the Delta Blues, and I like that the most out of that range of amps. The Classic 30 would be up there as well. I sort of never really liked it back in the day, but it's grown on me a lot, that amp. It's really great. Profile is this. This is the what is it? The Marshall DSL 40 with the Texas Heat. This is one I think I did with the ribbon microphone as well. says changing homes or moving into a studio. Oh no, I'm moving into a house. Yeah, I don't really see the reason to have a dedicated studio for what I'm doing. It's just, I couldn't afford it for one, but it wouldn't be sort of very, you know, it just wouldn't be very practical. I think I just like having to walk into another room and start filming as opposed to having to drive somewhere to do that. No. So, yeah, it'll open up a lot of opportunities to test stuff I've kind of avoided for a while as well, just through noise restrictions and all that kind of thing too. So, Fender Les Paul 89 says, love your content, man. Greetings from Peru. Thanks, mate. It's an interesting hybrid of brands and names there. That's cool. Yeah, there's delay on there. Just the Kemper delay. I don't even know which one it is. I always like it. I just hit it on and it sounds good. Let's grab one of the other guitars. So yeah, it's great to have the Little Crow back. For those who haven't seen this or who might be new to the channel or whatever, I'm going to re-video this at some point with its new sort of specs and all that kind of thing. The pickups are identical, the body's the same, but yeah, the neck is definitely different now. And it's the tuners are really cool. I've got the Goto locking tuners. I just think locking tuners are the best kind of thing. One of just the best mod you can make to a guitar. You know, they really are. Even if you got a Fender and they're reliable to, you know, in terms of their tuning, they're such a great addition to most guitars. You know, they really are. Who would have guessed a Les Paul style guitar that doesn't stay in tune? Horrible playing right there. Can you recommend a solid state amp loud enough to gig with that covers blues and classic rock under a gram besides the Bandit? You could try like the Roland Blues Cube. You could try getting a used Fender, what are they called? The Deluxe Plus 112s. They're really good. That would probably be my best choice. I tell you what, go to my website. I got guitarpedaldemos.com, and I've done a full list of amps that you can gig with that are solid state. There's a couple of really great hybrid amps out there as well, like Music Man as well. They've kind of got a power section of the you know, got a valve power section, but they have a solid state preamp section. They're really great amps as well. Yeah, I mean, if you don't want a modeling amp, then your options are fairly limited, but the Peavies are still probably the best bet and best bang for buck. You know, if you can get a Red Stripe Bandit for under, you know, a couple of $100, you're laughing. There's no doubt about it. Hey, Robert Baker, welcome, man. We're trying to tune this guitar. Hasn't been played for a little bit, so it's a bit out. Let's get this sorted out. I'm going to definitely get the neck pickup changed in this. I want to swap it out to a burst bucker. looking at a next tone artist. Yeah, I would stay away from that amp. I haven't really heard anything that really made me go, oh wow, I need to own one of those. Yeah, they're overpriced as well, like much like the Blues Cubes. That's the thing, you know, you can go spend more money on a Roland Blues Cube, and will it be any better than the Bandit? No. I mean, there's amps like Quilter as well, which a lot of people seem to like. I've heard them in the mix at a gig, and I don't think they sounded as good as a Peavey. So, and they're way more expensive, and they've got some positives too. Like some of them are really light, and if you buy just the head, you can essentially use it with anything you like, which will be a huge advantage as well. But if you want a combo, bang for buck, the used Peavey Bandits are hard to beat. They really are. But I would opt to find not one of the newer generation ones. I think the older ones are much better. Robert says, what brand of guitar is this? This is the original Lawsuit guitar, mate. This is what started it all. The Tokai, made in Japan. Yeah, this is a straight up Gibson copy without the name, obviously. But yeah, it's got the same headstock shape. It's got the whole thing. When I compared this feel-wise to my Gibson custom shop, they feel identical. Fat 50s neck. Yeah, they're indistinguishable other than how they smell. The Gibson always smelled that little bit nicer. So yeah, I'm a big fan of it. I got two of these guitars. I've got an ES335 that is made by Tokai as well in Japan. It's just awesome. What's the weight of my Tokai Love Rock? I think it's classified as heavy. It weighs as much as an ungodly Gibson Les Paul does. It is really heavy. 57, preferably to make up for the two smelly people with thumbs down. Oh yeah, I don't worry about that. That's cool. I might have ignored their question, or they might have just turned up and I don't know. Who knows? Doesn't matter. I don't like. Sometimes I get asked questions and I answer them, and people go, "Oh, I don't like that answer." Click. Yeah, it's what it is. I have a Blues Cube artist and it collects dust now, and I have Amplitude 4 for home use. Yeah, well that's the thing, like that software stuff can do really well. Combination Demo says you and Robert should do a video together. Hang in there. Once I get out of this place and into the new place, it'll be started. So hang in there. I just gave a little bit of it away, but yeah, it's coming up. So thanks, Robert. This video is going to be great. I haven't told everybody who's in it yet either. There's a little bit of a I guess a teaser, spoiler, or whatever. Someone asked before. Here we go. John says, I have a question relating to swapping necks. Is it still the same guitar if it's a different neck? Yeah, it's an interesting sort of question. I don't know. It becomes more yours. You know, I think anytime you mod something or you change something, it's more unique. Like I know a lot of people don't like the whole self-relicking thing, but I may have turned it into something that's completely mine by doing that. I kind of like that as much as a lot of people hate it. You know, you could just buy a guitar and leave it as it is, which is fine. If it, like this, I'm not going to mess with this. I like it. Oh, well, other than the neck pickup. But yeah, once you start changing necks, it becomes more of a mod guitar, in my opinion. Pickups, you know, the formula of the guitar is still there. It's not as obvious maybe that something has completely changed, but I'm always about, like, if you like bigger necks and you can make the change, go for it. Why not? Matty K USA, thanks man, I appreciate that. Have a good night. Thanks again for the support. I upgraded that Tokai with bare knuckles just this week and it sounded fantastic. Oh, there we go. That's a great piece of information there. Thanks, mate. I actually had a look at a pickup the other day and I was like, they got a burst bucket. It's the one I want. And then I realized it's the bridge pickup. So I don't really want to change this bridge pickup. It's just a great sound. really depends with this guitar what amp I'm using. If I'm using the Marshall, I love it. If I'm using my Fender, I don't like it as much. It's like the neck pickup's a little bit sort of dark sounding for my taste, and it's while the bridge always sounds good on any of them. So I think I'm going to basically swap. I'm going to switch out the neck and yeah, maybe a burst pucker. I think that might be the way to go. I love the neck pickup on my V. It's just a really great sound. So if I can find one of those, I'll put it in. Oh, Pork Chop Express, thanks man. He says, hey Shane, regarding the Gibson vid, I find it funny of what kind of saved Gibson in the 80s and 90s was Slash playing Les Paul copy made by Derrig. Oh, there you go. I didn't know that actually, so that's good information. I'm not the biggest, I mean, I like Slash's guitar playing, but I'm not a huge fan in terms of, I didn't know I don't know his rig and what he uses and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, thanks for the support there, mate. And yeah, you know, I think there's a cover of one of Stevie Ray Vaughan's albums where he's holding a 335. It's a Tokai like mine, or mine's like his. So I didn't know that at the time of buying mine either. Kevin Dransfield says, hi Shane from Warrigal, welcome mate. Rick says, night mate, good luck with the move. Hope to see you again when you get settled down. Thanks mate, I'll be doing some sort of live stream once I get it all sorted out. I reckon it'll be by the sort of like the 9th of next month, somewhere around there. If I can get a live stream done sooner, I will. But yeah, it'll be interesting to sort of set up a new room and see what I'm able to do in there, you know, at least visually with it. I'm going to also ditch some of my lighting. I feel like I've got way too much of it, so I don't need as much as what I've been using. So yeah, there'll be a bit more room, and hopefully we can get some guests in there and do some live videos. I actually haven't given this away yet, but there's another thing I'm doing on the channel coming up that won't be far away either. And this place will make it a perfect it'll be great for it. I'll just leave it there. Oh, that combination demo, thanks mate, I appreciate that. I'll look into them, and if they're sort of what I'm looking for, I'll buy it off you. How about that? You might want a brighter neck position. Yeah, that's the thing that on this profile of the Marshall, it's bright, but on my other amps, it really isn't. Horrible stuff right there. 50K for a Derrig Les Paul copy. Wow. Yeah, I just think it's hilarious, some of this Gibson stuff. I get why people are frustrated at them. It's just a stupid thing on their behalf. But yeah, you know what? I buy guitars that are good. And now I think what this has done to hurt Gibson is a lot of people that might have been thinking about buying their stuff probably won't, and that's their own fault. So they'll probably recover more money by suing other companies if it works out to their favor. Pros and cons of attenuator versus getting a smaller amp. You know, I've recorded with attenuators over the years, and while they're kind of like usable, it still doesn't sound like an amp loud. You know, it really doesn't. The only way you can get that sound, if you're going to be tracking guitars, get a 2 notes torpedo if your amp can handle or work with that. I think they're really great. The Kemper's just a great tool for studio work. I know that's way more expensive, but a small amp also can sort of just sound like a small amp. Anything smaller than a Princeton is going to sound pretty boxy on a recording. I've tried like isolated recording cabinets, both a large one which had a 12-inch speaker in it, and a custom one called the Axe Track, and that was the original Axe Track. I haven't tried the new one, but it was basically one of those things where it it sounded small. I think the best way to record now would be digitally. It doesn't matter what you use. Almost anything's great. You know, you get those cab box things, and even like the analog versions, the Joyo American sound. I've chosen to use those on recordings over amps that were small. They just sounded better. So in terms of power attenuators, I'm not convinced by them. I'm yet to hear one that really blows my mind. I had a THD hot plate, and I had that when I had the super reverb here. I still got it somewhere in a box. It's actually Rick's. But yeah, it's one of those things where I didn't use it because it just sucked the life out of the amp. You know, you can't expect it to sound as good at a lower volume as it does loud. There's just a different thing going on. Feels good playing this again. I haven't played much guitar the last few weeks either, so it's other than just playing live. I had a gig last weekend and it was awesome. It was some of the best fun I've had playing live in maybe about a year. It was just one of those nights. We had a busy room. All my friends turned up, so we got a chance to kind of switch out players here and there, and it was just a great vibe. We did a set of or a small bracket of trio stuff, 4-piece stuff, 5-piece stuff. It was a lot of fun. So yeah. Where was that comment I missed here? Someone wrote, Tanglewood, Clint says, Tanglewood are making some amazing affordable acoustic guitars, a really high build quality. You should check them out, Shane. I've seen some of those before. They're really good. There's a shop here in, I think, Baronia that sell those. They're pretty cool. Since getting back into guitar, this is from Jay Nixo. He says, I've fast learned that it's easy to spend money on overpriced products. Can't believe the options for reasonable guitars now that aren't Fenders or Gibson. Absolutely, there's plenty of really great inexpensive options out there. There's no doubt about that at all. You know, I did a video a couple of years back about shopping on the secondhand market and, you know, buying a guitar like this new that might cost sort of like 1,800 Australian dollars retail. You could pick something like this up for about 800 bucks used if you're a right-hander. Obviously, lefties are hard to find, but you know, you're much better spending your money like on something like this than spending 3,500–4,000 on exactly the same guitar from Gibson. And this is my opinion. If you're looking to save a few bucks, there's not a whole lot of difference between the guitars. You know, the Japanese guitars are pretty well known as being great. And I don't keep guitars I don't enjoy playing either. Like if I'm not using it, it goes. And I've had a few guitars turn up and I'm like, send it back. So yeah, I don't need to be playing Tokai instruments. It was just that at the time of buying this, it was my best choice financially, and straight off the shelf, out of the box, it just played great. So you can find these type of guitars like Bernie and Orville and some of these other ones a lot cheaper than you can find like a used Gibson. Ever tried a Dylan Les Paul copy? I don't think I have. That's from Bill Moore. Clint says, I love the Joyo American sound. You got me onto those. They're really great. Like, so last couple of weeks back, I did a gig straight into the PA system, and I thought, hey, I'm going to take out the Kemper and I'm going to play that live and it's going to be awesome. And it wasn't great. It sounded good out the front, right? But you're still limited to, you know, not only how you set it up, but it doesn't feel the same as an analog thing going into a PA system. PA systems are terrible mostly, right? Unless you're playing at a great venue somewhere. And I found like my friend who had his analog pedals on the floor, it was a much more authentic sort of experience, being able to stomp on your pedals going into one of those American sounds. It was just like doing a normal gig, whereas I was limited to the patches I made, and I was, you know, once I started having to fiddle with stuff, I knew it was game over. So while out the front this thing sounded maybe slightly nicer, it wasn't that big analog sound at all. I think in the studio these are the best tools you could buy, up with, you know, like some of those Axe effects and all that kind of stuff. But for straight up getting your tone on recording, this saves the day. For playing live, I'm not going to take it out of the house again. I'll be taking the Joyo American sound or something very similar to that anyway. Lee Meldrum says, good news, Shane. The St. Louis In the Blues won the Stanley Cup. Oh, there we go. Cool. Sorry, maybe I misread that, but oh no, I read it right. Okay, good stuff. There you go. Thanks, Lee. Some of the smaller amps have power scalers or whatever. It's sort of what you were getting at. I might have missed what that was in relation to. Christopher says, greetings from Pittsburgh. I use a Mua preamp live, pretty decent. Cool. Watching Clapton play some of that finger picking stuff he does on some of the Unplugged album, you know, it's really cool. Does this he uses the G a lot in E blues, like he'll go when he's soloing, he'll sort of he uses it in a really unique way. He sort of uses it as a definitive note over almost like a run almost between. Yeah, I can't really do it, but yeah, I'm sort of like watching what he does. That fingerstyle stuff is really, really fun. Hey, thanks Combination Demo. I tell you what, mate, just shoot me an email if you want at intheblues@outlook.com and I'll get in touch with you on there. Sorry if I missed your other comment, mate. Sometimes I lose track of where the chat's at. Jay Nixo says, I've watched all your Overdrive pedal reviews. I want to buy one just to get me started. Probably one of the cheaper ones to start off. What's a good bluesy crunch one to heavier? Oh, that's interesting. So I guess, where did I put my pick? Did I drop it? Geez, I think one of the sort of safest ones would be something like you want a heavier sort of sound. How heavy? Actually, that would be a good question. Do you want like heavy rock kind of sound, or do you want sort of like heavy blues kind of sound? Because it's two different things, you know. I think if you want like a chug kind of sound, I don't really know any pedals off the top of my head that can do all of that. That at least sort of reasonably priced. I'll have to check my sort of catalogue of stuff here. Oh yeah, the Joyo Ultimate Drive's good. I don't know what that was either. I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my picks. Where'd they go? Oh well. Sometimes I say, oh, where's my pick? And I've got it sticking out of the corner of my mouth. There's a few from Tone City that do pretty much everything, you know, like from I think it was called the Mandragoda. I can't remember how to pronounce it, but yeah, they had a couple of overdrive pedals that kind of do everything. And it's not the Sweet Cream. That was good, but it was more of like an off-clean kind of pedal. They had two others in that range that were, I think, based on OCD or a full tone something. And they did pretty much that entire suite from like blues all the way through to, you know, rock and roll kind of sounds. They would probably be the two that I can think of off the top of my head. The Joyo Ultimate Drive definitely does that. I haven't used that pedal for probably 7 or 8 years or maybe longer. It's been a long time. That was right around the time I moved in here, I think I did that video. So I can't really recall exactly how that sounded off the top of my head, but they would definitely be a couple that would do the job. Yeah, Kalen make also a few as well, but I'd need to go through my list and have a look. I'll tell you what, just shoot me an email too, mate. I'll have a good look through my video collection and see which ones sort of jump out. But off the top of my head, I think the Tone City ones would probably be the best. Yeah, they've got two drive pedals that sit right in the sort of middle ground of their sounds. It's really good. Thanks for Level Midnight. Oh yeah, the Golden Plexi is a great pedal too if you like that Marshall sound. There's another one. Proteus says, I bought the Golden Plexi off Shane's recommendation, not disappointed. That's great. I'm glad you like it. How well can I play right-handed? Terribly. I can kind of play right-handed guitars upside down a little bit, but I can't play like this way. It would just be a horrible experience. Like, yeah, the whole, like, how do you strum? You know, it's not good. Yeah, the coordination just never felt right the other way. I don't know. Never felt right. Jamal says, right now, none of them, but I usually grab the V most of the time. The Vs are great. Here's a good question. Edward says, what do I think of Maton's electric guitars? I owned one of their Master Sounds for about a month. I could not get used to, I just couldn't get used to it. There's a couple of things about it. I loved the bridge pickup. It was maybe one of the best bridge pickups I've ever used. I hated the neck pickup. They were so unbalanced output volume-wise. I hate the way Maton's necks feel in the hand. They feel way too much like their acoustic guitars. I think an electric guitar should feel way more finished in the hand than an acoustic. The acoustic can have that sort of wooden, dry kind of thing going on, but an electric should have a bit more of a feel to it that's familiar. Even, you know, a satin finish or something would have been nice on the back of those necks, but instead they just felt like they bolted an acoustic guitar neck on their electric guitars. And this is just my opinion, right? I'll get to the other one in a sec, but the one that I owned, it had tiny frets, and Maton, for whatever reason, man, they put the smallest frets on their acoustic guitars. And I knew I'd wear through it in like no time. Visually, they're awesome, right? I give them credit for their design. They definitely look unique. They look classy. I just couldn't get used to the neck pickup. I tried it out at gigs. I knew instantly that it wasn't a guitar I was going to keep. I liked their little weird sort of control switching system between the pickups. But yeah, the bridge pickup was great. Just they got this single coil underwound neck pickup thing going on, and it was never really very nice. Even in the video I did of it, I think I commented like, the neck pickups, it's all right, but the bridge rocks, and that wasn't enough for me to keep it in the end. That mixed with small frets and just a interesting kind of neck shape and feel that felt way too like their acoustic guitars. They make good acoustic guitars. I don't know about their electrics. You know, I tried that Josh Homme or whatever it was, signature model Maton as well. And I like that more than the the electric guitar that I owned. I didn't like it anywhere near enough to want to go buy it. It was way too expensive for what I would ever justify. I don't even know who Josh Homme is, right? I mean, I know of him, right? I know he kicked someone in the head at a gig. But yeah, I don't know much about like the player. I like the look of that guitar. It was beautiful, and the neck did feel better. It felt more like an electric guitar neck. It had a nicer finish than an acoustic. But they should do that on all of their guitars. I don't know why they sort of half-ass the finish on some of their electrics. You know, it's one of my biggest criticisms of their electric guitars is, now after, I always wanted one. I always saw them and went, man, I got to get one of these. They look amazing. And when I had a chance to buy one, yeah, it was like, oh, yeah, I wanted to love it. I just couldn't. I just didn't love it. So. Rummy73, thanks mate, says, despite anti-Gibson talk, my Les Paul custom is a dream. And that's what it's all about, mate. Don't let the internet hype or the bandwagons, you know, persuade anybody of liking or disliking something that they already own. I just couldn't care less, you know. I don't care if people like the fact I play copies of Gibsons made in Japan. I couldn't care less. If I like it, I use it and I enjoy it. I think everyone, you know, a good way to get a lot of hits on YouTube is put a Gibson video out about it, about something that's trending like that, and you'll get a lot of views. And it just, I don't know, man. I just stayed away from it this time. I went, no, I'm not interested. I don't care enough about it to really comment on it, other than, yeah, it was a dumb move on their behalf, but who cares? Move on. I think people are more concerned with brand talk than kind of playing and putting time into the instrument. And I see that a lot. Oh, there it is. Is that not one of the best riffs of all time or what? I just love that. I finally learned how to play it, at least from ear a little bit better. Need the wah pedal though. There's a few different ways of playing that. I've seen Hoffler used to play it here somewhere, like. But then I've seen him later years playing it up here. It's just a great riff, man. I love it. It's all about playability and sound. Absolutely. Yeah, and you know, it doesn't matter what brand the guitar is. If it inspires you to play and you can do what you do on it, yeah, it's a good guitar. Not a fan of Dean guitars, but I think they've earned the right to make them. Yeah, I didn't know anything about Dean guitars until I was at Jerry's Lefty Guitars a couple of years back, and I played one of their Flying V's, and it was so freaking good. It was like one of the best instruments I've ever played. The one thing I didn't like about it, I'm not a huge fan of what do you call it, like Floyd Roses and all that kind of stuff. I just think that gets overly complicated. But it had some of the best sustain I've ever seen on a guitar. It was unreal. It was awkward to play at the time. I wasn't used to playing a Flying V. But that Dean USA made Flying V was just insanely good. That video is still up online if anyone wants to check it out. It took off. Like the sustain was just unreal. You know, I think that kind of planted the seed that I want to get a Flying V. I just didn't want to buy one that had you know, a Floyd Rose. It's not really my kind of thing. You know, some people swear by Floyd Roses, but I don't. What was I going to say? Yeah, one of the things about the Dean guitars is they look nothing like a Gibson Flying V. The headstock shape was different. You know, just visually, they're very, very different looking instruments. Maybe the concept is similar, but I don't know if that's enough to get him in trouble. Landon just posted a link. He says, I don't care about the Gibson issue, but there's some cool information from them from their official site. It's a list of their trademarks. Oh, there you go. Well, if that was the case, you know, you'd think they should have probably have pursued a lot of this stuff a lot sooner than waiting 30 years, you know, in some cases. So I don't know. I'll have a look though. Oh yeah, cool link. If I could share this on screen, I would. Let's see if we can, oops, let's go back. I used to have this set up so I could share. Let's have a look. Is it working? Yeah, it's not bringing the chat over though. Let's try this. Is that looking any better? No. Oh well, I tried. Anyway, yeah, that link looks cool, man. Yeah, definitely check it out, guys. It's a list of all their stuff. Sam says, I just picked up a Marshall DSL 40CR last week because of your videos. Great amp. Awesome stuff, mate. I'm glad you like it. I love mine. It's my number one as of like just plug and play amp. It's great. It's such a great amp. I love that tone. John says when he bought the Brothers in Arms CD, he didn't notice that until he got home that the case was empty. That was money for nothing. Crowbar says Gibson need to produce another video with the CEO explaining this crap, like he should have in the first place. It would have. You know what? It almost doesn't even need to be put on the internet in the first place. You know, maybe the follow-up needs to be that. You're right. I just think, like, if a company's going to sue someone, why would they do that? Like, it is stupid. I said that earlier. I don't think it was a smart move, but yeah. Jack Daniels says he's a big fan of Mark Agnesi. It's a shame he's copping flack for the video. Yeah, he's probably in a position where they give him, what are those things called? Like a prompt box for all the words, whatever those things are called, where he just has to literally read the script as he goes. You could see he was kind of like looking. They don't film straight on a lot of the time when people are reading because you can tell they're reading. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. Yeah, I wonder if he's regretting leaving Norms. Oh, Kevin says, thanks for playing the SG at the tavern. Hey, no worries, man. It was a cool guitar. I'm not very good with SGs, but it was good fun guitar. Yeah, teleprompter, that's what they called it. Agnesi doesn't care. He shared the favourite memes with himself as the butt of the joke. Oh, that's good. Good on him. That's a good way to be. Yeah, I think the most successful people online or in business or whatever are the ones that just don't care or can make fun of themselves and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And, you know, good on him. That's cool. Let's play some telly. Oh, I bet that sounds good through the headphones. Been playing this a bit at the house lately. This little cheap telly. yeah, I might wrap it up shortly anyway as well. Thanks, Jamal. I appreciate that, mate. Have a good day. And yeah, I'm looking forward to, I guess, tidying up the rest of the studio and getting it out into the other room. Well, to some extent. Yeah, I'll miss this little room. It's been great, you know. Like I've got everything wired. I had everything wired and cabled the way that I liked it, and it'll be a good change to be able to set up fresh somewhere, and I'll maybe get some new posters printed. I actually got an offer to check out some artwork from somebody from overseas as well, which I'm looking forward to. He offered to send some posters out and all that kind of stuff, and they looked unreal. Like he's an artist, so they look really cool. So that's an opportunity there that might change up the wall. I'm definitely probably going to do the same. Definitely probably is not a good thing to say, but I'm definitely going to be keeping a similar kind of thing. Something that removable that doesn't sort of ruin the wall or anything like that. You know, you don't want to get in trouble with anything. So yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. Love the Robert Cray poster. Yeah, that's a cool one. I like that one as well. There was a time there where I listened to a lot of Robert Cray, you know, and he's got such a great, clean sound. It's just very, very clean, but he had great attack and touch and all that. I really got into his playing for a while. I don't play that clean much anymore, but yeah. It's funny because even through the Kemper, I don't have my, well, I can if I go over there and fiddle with it, but I don't have my sort of stages of tone. You know, this is probably like as dirty as I'd ever play. Do I have a link to the artwork? I don't off the top of my head, mate. I'll dig it up. Anyway, whenever I get a chance to, if it turns up or if I manage to get my hands on it, I'll definitely be putting something together for the guy because it looks really cool. He does paintings of like Hendrix and B.B. King and Papa Chubby and a lot of the guys on the wall, Stevie Ray, and he's also like painted their guitars, and it's got a really unique sort of vibe to it. I really like it, so it might be something that would look cool as sort of like a backdrop as well. I read this. Let's go back up. This is from Dunster 2011. He says, how loud would the cheer have been from Fender's headquarters when they saw the Play Authentic video? They would have been high-fiving everyone in the factory. That's awesome. Get the patrons to email you a pic of themselves for you to put up a... Oh, I just scrolled. Hang on, let me go back up. That kind of sounded funny. Oh, missed it. Where is it? Ah, it's gone. Sorry. Oh, okay, get the patrons to email you a picture of themselves to put up on the wall. Employee style of the month. Employee of the month style. Yeah, all right. That's... No. I don't know, maybe. We'll see. Roswell pickups are decent. They are one of the in-house brands in the Korea factory that make the Duncan design pickups. Yeah, these are fine. I've played this guitar live a number of times and I've had no problems with it at all. I forget I'm playing this, you know. The only time I realize I'm not playing my 52 is when I hear the buzz. I've been going back to playing more clean like Robert Cray. I was into him myself. I've seen him a few times live and he never disappoints us. From Peter. Yeah, there's something to be said about playing clean. You know, when I practice most of the time, I'm not even plugged in. I think it's a good way to get your chops and attack up as well. If you feel like you're not really playing with any conviction, unplug and just play electric guitar acoustically. It will really get you going. Hey, Grumpy Mike, thank you, mate. I appreciate that. He's a little something for the moving snacks. Did you need help moving? I'm getting some help. My brother's going to be helping me out, and a mate of mine as well, who's a pretty strong guy. So we shouldn't have any issues loading up the truck. Oh, John Mayer retired, did he? I had no idea. I've sort of unfollowed a lot of his stuff over the last sort of couple of years. I lost interest, you know. I loved his trio blues stuff, and I loved Continuum. But after that, I tried to like his music. I guess the only other ones I liked were his J.J. Cale style albums as well, like Born and Raised. That wasn't bad. It had some good songs on there. But yeah, his voice, man, I can't handle it. It just there's something weird about a 41-year-old man singing like he's a 16-year-old kid. As much as that might upset somebody, I don't know. Just I can't handle it. Like, sing with some conviction. You got to play with BB King and Eric and all these guys that can belt it out. Like, sing like a blues guy. Do more of the music. I don't know. Maybe he loves that sort of style. I don't know. But there's something to be said about his vocal. I don't like it anymore. I used to like it. I can't handle it anymore. I think when I saw Chris Kane and... Sorry, I'm a little tangled. Seeing some of these other guys sing and play was just a whole... They're just like legit great vocalists that capture your attention. I don't know, man. I can't listen to the pop stuff anymore. I don't know where my pick's gone. It just disappeared. So I found this plastic one on the floor. We'll see how we go with this. Someone asked, who's this little guy on the Kemper? This is a souvenir I got in Boston. I worked for an American company that their headquarters were there. And this was on a trip over there one time. This is, I call him Boston because that's what he's got written on him. He's one of these beanie ball things that always land on their feet. You know, you can throw him and he'll always land that way up. I know, I just kind of like it. And I'll tell you the little secret with this guy. Anytime I need to use manual focus on my cameras, I sit this where I would normally sit on my stool, manually focus the cameras on this, and then sit there and I'm good to go. So he serves a couple of purposes. That's why you see him move around a lot. D-Max says, nice Mayer rant. Look, I respect how great a guitar player he is, and he was a huge inspiration to a lot of guitarists. He kind of was the modern day Hendrix. You know, he had great guitar parts and a really melodic way of playing. I'm not saying he's like as good as Hendrix was, but he took a lot of those ideas and turned them melodic. He really did. Like, there's just, you know, he's a great guitar player. I don't care what anyone says. If you don't think he's a good guitar player, you haven't seen him play enough, because his guitar playing is under my leg, is it? It is too. Thank you. His guitar playing is just great. Yeah, I just can't handle his vocal, man. I don't know what it is. It never evolved. It just sort of devolved. I know he had some, like, usually when people aren't singing properly, they get those nodules. I've had friends who have had that, and it's a technique thing, right? So if someone's putting a voice on and they're singing like that for years, odds are you're probably going to cop it. I could be wrong about that, but that's what I've heard. Yeah, I don't know, man. I love the guy's guitar playing. I love his trio stuff, and he was digging in with his vocals, and he sounded a lot more like a guy that was his age. And then you hear that other stuff, and I'm like, I get it. The female audience must love it or something, but I don't know. Nearly every song on that Continuum album is good. Like that's going to be a tough album to beat, you know. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, there's a lot of great songs on there. does PRS have to say about it? The Silver Sky just got announced, introduced in the past year. I don't know. I mean, look, he's a great artist to have. I mean, who wouldn't want to have John Mayer as an artist? Like, Fender are idiots for not working with him. However, it should have worked, because whether you like his stuff or not, I still stand by. I love his guitar playing. I think he's a phenomenal guitarist. I saw him live and it was awesome. But I'm talking about his songwriting approach. I thought when he did those blues albums or blues soul, or had blues elements in there, like the Continuum album, that might have been the sort of path. But you know, he took some. He's obviously got a lot of inspiration and a lot of different sounds that he loves, and that's good. It's good to explore that as well. But I just wish he would sing more like he's a grown man. Mayer might try his hand at acting, comedy. He's pretty funny. Yeah, oh, you might be right. Why not? I mean, he seems like a natural in front of the camera. So yeah. You always listen to someone talk and then listen to them sing. There's a correlation between some of that normally, unless you're like an opera singer or something, right? Like, listen to Tommy Castro talk back here, and he's like got the husky voice. He sounds cool. He sings and he sounds unreal. You know, Robert Cray, Dr. John. You know, any of these dudes. You listen to Mark Knopfler sing and talk. There's a correlation between the two. Some would say it's very similar. J.J. Cale. You know, it's just Chris Kane's one of those guys too. When he talks, he sounds bigger as a singer, obviously, but you can hear that in his voice. I don't hear the correlation between. I heard more of Mayer's voice, I think, on the Trio album that he did. That's just my opinion, though. Well, I don't know why he'd be retiring. Wouldn't be surprised if that's. Wouldn't be surprised if that's some sort of like internet thing. He was definitely a Stevie Ray wannabe at first, to admit it. Unfortunately for him, it was a pop status thing that put him on the map. Yeah, look, there was clear elements of that in his blues playing and in his vocal on some of that stuff. But he's much more of way more melodic player than Stevie Ray. I love Steve. Like, Stevie's the best blues player maybe ever, right? But and he runs circles around Mayer as a straight up blues guy. But Mayer's much more versatile, man. Like, he could play everything, like all styles of music. Maybe Stevie he might have done more of that sort of stuff down the line, who knows? But yeah, I think he's much more than just a Stevie Ray Vaughan clone. Just look at the way that he structures his chords and some of the songwriting. It's not even in the same stratosphere as Stevie's stuff. It's very different, you know. And I don't mean that as in like it's way better. It's just very different. So yeah. Can anyone suggest one piece of advice, how to get better at playing when stuck in a rut and how to move forward and improve? You got to find someone new to listen to, would be mine. You can do it one of two ways. This is what I do. If I'm feeling really stiff and I don't feel like I'm getting any better, I put some of the stuff on that inspired me to play again. Sometimes that works. Or I just try to find someone new to listen to. I went through a huge flat spot for probably 8 months where I was like, oh, I'm not getting any better, or I'm not consistently playing at my best. And then I saw Chris Kane and it reignited my fire to want to learn and play more. And I started getting what licks I could out of him. And yeah, it just happens. It's one of those things, you go through flat spots. Sometimes change of sound is also good too. Yeah. Peter says, sorry, but I love SRV. There was no reason to apologize. And also, if you listen to what I said, I'm not saying he's a better guitar player, just very, very different. All right, so he's talking about the poster that I used to have. Sorry, man, I thought you meant he retired as in he's taking a break or something. I was like, well, he's probably rich enough. Have I heard of Kingfish? Yeah, I have. Yeah, he's a great player as well. Wrap this up. I got to go get some lunch. I got a few things to go do. So yeah, we might call it. So this will be the last official live stream from the jam room. And yeah, thanks to everybody for the support while I've been at this place as well. I appreciate it. Let me just unplug that and that. Yeah, I appreciate everybody supporting the channel. I guess since I've moved in here, actually, the channel's grown a lot. I think I was at something like 30 million views when I moved in here, maybe less, maybe 20. It's up to, I think, 70 almost now. So yeah, it's, you know, this place served its purpose. It's time to move on. I always like kind of the unknown. It's kind of freaky and then also fun. You know, it's good to be thrown into situations where you go, I'm going to give this a shot and see if it actually works. So anyway, guys, as soon as I know if my internet works up there and all that kind of stuff, I'll go live and maybe I'll put a little... I had a few people ask if I could put like a studio setup video together, so I might do something like that. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, if I don't get back to everybody's questions as much over the next week or so, I will try my best once we get there. Once I get over there anyway, I'll be way less distracted as I am now. Bobby says, where am I moving? I'm moving about 25 kilometers away from where I am right now. So still in Melbourne, basically. Thanks, Terry. Cheers, man. Thanks, Dan. I appreciate that. Thanks to everyone who used the super chat as well. I appreciate that. You guys are always way too generous on here. And yeah, I'll catch you all very soon. So in the next couple of weeks, there are a few videos going up. You'll see, maybe the last video you'll see is where the posters at the bottom are missing. That was the most recent one. I think there might be 3 to go, and then I'm out of videos. I'm always a few weeks ahead for these very specific reasons. So yeah, I'm looking forward to showing everybody around that new place too when I get there. It's going to make, yeah, the backyard's awesome. So I'm going to be able to do some fun stuff out there. Thanks, Lago. I appreciate that. Hugh, thanks. Landon, thanks, man. Thanks, everybody. Yeah, if you enjoyed the video, didn't give it a thumbs up, please do so, or give it a thumbs down if you suck. No, I'm only kidding. I don't mind either way. So thanks, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks, Bearded Blues Dude. I appreciate that, mate. And yeah, I'm going to start pulling this down, put the Kemper in the box, and be done with it. So yeah, crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. All right, rock on, everyone. Have a great day. And I'll still be on Instagram and all that kind of stuff up until the time of going. And I'll be around, so I'll still have internet access up until I leave. But yeah, the videos will be taking a bit of a break up until then anyway. So, all right, guys, take care. And yeah, I'll catch you soon. Thanks again for all the support, everybody. I know we've got a lot of new subscribers too. So yeah, I'll catch you soon. Cheers.